Basket case. But we watched every bad horror movie because the wife was in, and that was like 3 movies a night. We just went through there, and they had a wide and vast selection
of bad movies,
of rubbish,
of no anything in Betamax. It just because we liked the format, and we didn't find very many places that actually rented them.
Well, it was a better format.
Much better format. Yeah,
it was, but Sony didn't like it.
No,
I mean, I still have a Laserdisc player.
Woo!
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
And I have another Laserdisc player in the box for when that one breaks down.
Oh wow!
I've got a couple of VCRs here in the in storage that we got from the pawn shops when they started becoming hard to find.
Yeah, I don't have a couple of extra VHS players.
I don't have a TV I can play them on anymore, though.
Yeah, I don't either.
The TVs are programmed off of them. Yeah.
Actually,
Whiskey, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
We are on the air.
Good
morning.
As we speak.
Sounds
good morning, everybody out there. We see you out there. Come on in.
Hey, Russ, I watched that Married at First Sight thing that you mentioned the other week.
It's awful, isn't it?
It's absolutely brilliant.
You can only watch it for about a minute before you start losing the will to live and your faith in any human nature. We were all doomed. You watch programs like that and you think, we're stuffed. That's it.
Suddenly your grasp on reality
It's only a matter of time.
Away.
It's only a matter of time. The Visigoths are at the gate. It's all over. It's only a matter of time before Rome falls when you watch programs like that. Seriously.
By far the best monologue I've heard from Russ.
Rome fell a long time ago, though. That's the thing.
Fall down one boom.
It's more of a quiet whimper. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Going away. Anyway. Whiskey's asking for a link. I already sent it to you.
Oh, okay, good.
Frane's in the house. Frane, hello, everybody.
Hey, Frane.
Frane, hope you're doing well. Rue, Katuk.
Katuk. I have no idea.
I'm thinking Katuk. Katuk. Happy you're here with us, Rue.
Actually, Rukatuk kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Good morning, Sunday
West
Funnies
Racer.
people. John, if anytime you want in, contact me on Facebook.
You should be in here with us.
You're always welcome in here with us, my friend.
It's Sunday
always.
And you're always funny.
That's
so
right.
You should be here.
Yeah. Let me know.
It looks on everything.
If you want a link, sometimes John makes breakfast in the morning and, you know, it takes him a little while to get around. So anyway, welcome everybody. Come on in. It's Sunday Funnies. It's time for Sunday Funnies. I'm going to run the opening, I think, and get things underway.
The intro.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.
I'm not wearing pants either, but I don't think, I can get away with it because I'm wearing a skirt. So
Okay.
I just don't have pants on.
Must be what the Scottish
Pants. Why wear pants?
Why do I need to get away with it?
I'd say about 80% of streamers are probably not wearing pants, but only 5% are probably tubing it.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, had to think about that one for a second. It's time for Sunday Funnies. Thanks for coming on. Happy you're here. We're going to talk about comics. We're going to try to, at least. We'll see how the conversation rolls.
We'll see how it goes.
Frane says, love the intro. Thank you. Frane, those are comics that are near and dear to my heart that I have slide across the screen a lot of times. And yeah, some of my favorites. Let's put it that way. Anytime I've got 2 different openings that I run, and one of them's longer and the other has a lot more comics in it. Some great stuff. So it's always fun. We're happy you're here. I found a list. of the top 10 greatest comics of all time, as Stan Lee would say. Excelsior, greatest comics of all time.
Oh, did anyone see anything about the Stanley documentary they're doing on Disney Plus?
Oh,
No.
that's got to be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm
That-
curious.
That's just got to be full of correct information.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it'd be
that's what I was
great. Mm.
Wow.
What I'm thinking though, it's like, why not do something else? Like do Jack Kirby or John Buscema, or everybody. There's been documentaries on Stanley.
Because nobody there has got any real imagination or ability. There you go.
That's probably true.
And you have to
Got it
follow,
in one.
you have to
Yeah.
follow the corporate
That-
line if you want to keep your job.
Yeah,
That too.
yeah.
And Stan's the one they paid anyway. So that's it. They could do an entire series, and they should, documentary series on some of these greats, especially the Disney Imagineers. They really need to do that in the worst
Oh,
way.
that'd be fantastic.
There's
Yeah,
so
wouldn't that be
many,
good? Yeah.
so many great people that nobody knows about. That
It'd be
nobody's
really
aware
good
of.
if they could do it factually as well.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Wait, they lie?
Well, that's like that history.
They're lizard people.
They're all lizard people. We're all lizard people.
There's a comedy about a gentleman, like I can't remember. He's a famous comedian, and everybody knows who he is, but
But you can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name. Yeah, but he
Not
lies.
important.
He lies. Or everybody, the whole planet can't lie. That's the premise of the show, and he figures it out, right? So like everybody tells the truth all the time, and he figures out how to lie, so he games the system, right? So he's the first liar that ever existed.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's I can't remember the comedian's name. It's
I know where
Not
there's
Jim Carrey, is it?
No, not
that-
Jim Carrey.
No,
the
that was
Jim
Liar,
Carrey one.
Liar,
It's
Liar?
exactly the opposite. Everybody else is lying, and he's the one that has to tell the truth. Yeah.
It's the English version of The Office guy.
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
That's the one. There you go.
Is that the one where he's... no, I don't know. They're all the same.
Let's say
Yeah,
they all blend together after a while.
They all blend together after a
they
while.
do. Yeah.
I don't watch the television anymore. Stay away from the TV, guys. It lies to you.
Stay away from TV, but watch Married at First Sight.
Watch
least
Married
once.
at First Sight just to make you feel superior.
Do you know at the end of it? We watched me and Helen watched all the way through, and at the end of it,
Oh,
we didn't
you got caught.
We didn't even say it went off, and we didn't even say, "Well, we won't be watching that again." We didn't say anything.
You didn't have to. Yeah.
Right?
I'm glad I brought that to your attention.
It was like, right. Do you want a cup of tea? Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Let
My
us
brain
never
is
speak of
totally
that
numb
again.
now. I can handle. Yeah.
So the movie's called The Intention of Lying.
Right.
Never.
Oh,
heard
I
of
have
it.
heard of that. I haven't actually seen it though.
It looked interesting.
Isn't his mother dying or something? And he tells her that she's going to heaven or something.
Oh, John's going to join us.
John says,
Give
"Give
us
me a
a
few
few.
minutes. I can give you a few minutes, John. Just let me know." In
So
fact,
what's
I'll
this
send you.
list?
I'll send you the link now. I'll find you here.
What's this
The
list?
link will be in your Facebook private message. Just give me a second here. I got to go over to Facebook anyway and switch this to live before we get too entrenched in stuff. Stuff.
Stuff.
I think stuff might be the right word.
Speaking about stuff, what Russ, what are you working on there?
Yeah, I'm still on Cole here.
Oh, okay.
I can
It's
show
not
you.
Cull. It's the Shadow Kingdom.
Sorry, the Shadow Kingdom. I'm still on the Shadow Kingdom here.
The Cull estate might be a little, touchy.
Yeah, Shadow Kingdom. It's Shadow Kingdom.
Howard Estate might get a little annoyed.
The old comics, John asks. No, you don't. But if you want to, you can show them off if you want. Well, I have a list. I have a list that we'll be going over shortly, so that we can point and laugh at these subjective screen rant people. Who, what is the top 10 greatest comics of all time? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
not a one of them is a Marvel comic. Not a
What?
Can we just
Great
like
list.
roll up these comics that they say are the best ones and then beat them to death with them?
Some of them, yeah.
Are
Some
any
of them they're right. Some of them I think that they're dead on. But there's a lot of them in there that are like, really? Oh,
Are any of them like older than the, say 1970s?
No.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's all you need to know.
It's all those doors.
The past doesn't exist.
Screw these people. Yeah. Anyway, it's Screen Rant. What can you? Anyway, we'll get there in a second. John, let me send you that link here. Give me just a second. Switched over to public on my page so that folks can find us. And
I mean, I can make the argument that it's probably not the best drawn or best written comic of all time, but Action Comics #1 should be on the list because without it, none of us would probably be here.
Yeah, that's a great argument.
it's very true.
Kind of like when people ask me what my favorite Star Wars movie is, and I say the first one because without it, there wouldn't be any others.
It's in your inbox on your Facebook PMs, John. It's there. So come on in whenever you can. You're always welcome. Here is what Russ is currently working on.
Oh, that was great, Russ.
Thanks.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's looking amazing.
It's just going to be great. Yeah. I just finished adapting the story last night, in fact, at 1:30 in the morning. So
Your job is now done.
no, not at all.
I just got to sit and draw.
No, your job just started too.
But just got worse. Yeah.
It's gonna be a great adaptation.
You have like
go
a
ahead.
great like combination of like Buscema and Barry Windsor Smith with that line art.
It's a culmination, I believe, of all the things that I've loved.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
So Barry Windsor Smith was not really my top. I'm not that keen on what he did on Conan, but I love Machine Man.
Right.
Okay, so I absolutely love that stuff. I love the line work that he did in it, and then all the difference, like looking at the way Buscema inked his own Conan work, and then looking at the way, say, Alcala or Ernie Chan, inked it.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of that range, and so I kind of take the whole thing in and kind of like spew out my own version of it rather than trying to be any one individual.
Oh right,
person.
yeah, no, you're being yourself.
And it's
I was going to say, isn't that the way our art is supposed to go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You're
and
inspired by you're inspired by the people you idolize.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
With Barry Windsor Smith, I wasn't really big on his Conan either. I liked his Weapon X though.
Yeah. The Weapon X. Oh wow, yeah, exactly. It's funny, isn't it, how certain artists hit you in the feels on certain stories. They don't always work on every story, and that's definitely the case for me.
I think it's good to point out the way that their style changed dramatically. It looks like Kirby in the 40s with Captain America. I don't particularly like those skinny characters that he draws.
No, I preferred his later stuff.
But the 60s stuff, when everybody's like a brick wall, is absolutely incredible. Yeah,
it's really stylistic. It's really sort of you've got to love that stuff. Yeah. So I'm having a lot of fun with it at the moment.
That comes from having to draw the Thing for so long.
Oh.
You get this big, blocky, just basic shape style. I've said this before. I never cared for Kirby when I was growing up, but that somewhere in the early 20s or whatever, I ended up bumping in when I was in my early 20s, I should say. I ended up bumping into New Gods, and it was like, this stuff is incredible, just unbelievable.
Oh, I love.
And then you go back and you look at everything, and then you start collecting.
I love Kirby's
all of the range that he's done over the years. Is just
his rendition
phenomenal.
of the Thing is great, and I think Buscema with Sinnott over the top is a further expression of where Kirby started the Thing and how he ended up. I think that because obviously Sinnott was on a lot of other people after Buscema. I think Byron as well. Yeah, but that core sort of feel of the Thing stayed for a long time, and I think that Buscema Sinnott thing for me it's perfect comic strip. It's just it's fantastic.
There's some great comics out there.
Did Joe Sinnott ink any of the Buscema Silver Surfer?
I would have to look in my.
I don't think he did he?
I don't think he did. I think Buscema inked it himself, didn't he?
Yeah, I want to say.
I can probably tell you here just a second.
Because if he did,
that is a really good question, though.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine what it would have looked like? Yeah.
It wouldn't have been looked like they let Jack do it like they should have done.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the way Sinnott inked the whole of that Fantastic Four run with Buscema on it, and because there was a lot of Surfer in that with Galactus and what have you. That was just fabulous.
Yeah. I just wish they would have, wish John Romita would have inked New Gods as he was approached, I believe, before Mike Royer. And or even somebody like Wally Wood or Barry Smith, those people.
No, Joe Sonoy did ink issue 1 of Surfer.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
All right. Okay. Cool.
He's listed as an inker in it. So.
Right.
I'm like frantically trying to look up the names because I'm not familiar with comics, and B,
I got a
terrible
book
with
over
names.
there with it all in. I just can't be asked to get up.
10 days. Yeah, I got the book.
I'm like Googling away.
Yeah, I've got that one, and I've got the artisan edition as well. It's just over there.
I got the book here. Yeah. It's first print.
He inked the first 3 at least. Sal Buscema inked number 4.
Yeah, Joe did.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, and he did 5.
All right. I'll relent.
Oops.
Yeah, 1 through 3 is what he's credited with. Sal 4 through 7, Atkins 8 through 15, Chick Stone 16 and 17, Herb Trempe on 18.
Yeah.
Which I think is Kirby, right?
It's Kirby, yeah. It's the last issue, isn't it?
We got a couple of comments there that are.
Yeah, when you look at the cover, it's pretty bloody obvious, actually.
I remember that book fondly because I read it. It was one of those books I read before I could have superhero comics. And I read it while I was on vacation. Just incredible stuff. To smash the Inhumans.
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah.
Fantastic. Look at that.
And who was
amazing.
who was the inker on this one?
Herb Trempe.
Yes, Herb Trempe.
Who did an amazing run on Hulk for many years. And right during Hulk's fight period, he would always jump into a situation, fight a monster, and then jump out.
Can I interrupt you guys for a sec?
Yeah.
We have a gentleman looking for a link in the chat here, and then someone saying hello.
Little Tut Animations. Hello. How are you? Hi. I don't see a link. Oh, Link?
Oh.
Kids are scared. Link? I'm not sure who you are, kids. Do you know who I am over on Facebook? Contact me over there. I'll send you a link.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. That's
it's gorgeous.
superb work.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that art's
Fantastic.
absolutely amazing.
It's like
Unbelievable.
And I just thought of something as well. If you look at that surfer with those with the dark eyes, it's like a Dr. Manhattan, isn't it?
yeah.
It is.
Or Dr. Manhattan's like that.
Yep.
That's a great book.
Yeah.
I'm sure
The
there is some
artisan IDW
influence
artisan book.
from Silver Surfer going over to Dr. Manhattan. I think that Surfer came first, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By a long time.
Yeah,
20
Surfer came out in the
years, yeah.
60s.
So my second book just came back from printers today.
Oh,
There you
wow.
Ooh,
that's
cool.
from New
Hang on,
Haven, who now
Hang on.
work under Viking Press
Boom.
Comics.
Oh, that looks sick.
Nice.
All
I
right.
love that cover.
Cool.
So
man.
that work,
Sweet.
there's a lot of that stuff that we just looked at. There's a lot simpler line work than I'm currently doing.
When is that available on Amazon?
It's available on Amazon right now.
Awesome.
So sweet.
Okay.
As
Can
far
I,
as, well, pretty close. Anyway, I know
Gonna have
book
to-
1 is available on Amazon right now. I'll have to check on book 2. So
Yeah. Gonna have to get a cut.
There you go.
Gonna have to get a cut.
So I want to take a look at what I'm looking at.
I
Or
just
working
wanna
oh, look at that.
wanna show off that.
Oh, that's
Mephisto.
beautiful.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
God.
Look at the light on that work. Look at the
Yep.
lighting on
That
those
is so
heads
good.
on that vertical panel.
Look at the long-winded Stan Lee dialogue too. Wow.
Yeah,
Anyway.
don't you just love it?
Wolf.
But he's got
That's
to
gotta
claim
be
it,
great
hasn't he?
reading. That's
Gotta
great
claim
reading
it.
right there.
It's real comics.
Real comics. Yeah. That's it too. Absolutely. Some of that Shadow Kingdom's probably going to be like that. So, see how it
Well,
goes.
Well, it's
too wordy.
it's from the mouth of the author, so we're being as faithful as we possibly can be. So
Can you guys want to see what I'm working on?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe.
Let's do it.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
We're all going to wait for Alison to say
No,
whether we can do
I
it or
broke
not.
it.
So I'm sorry, it's all out of my hands.
I'm not. You're not getting my money.
Woohoo, look at that.
Wow.
Oh, that looks sweet.
Nice.
That is awesome. That looks like clothes on a zombie.
Yeah, you've done very well with those clothes there. That's
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah, the cloth is
Does.
beautiful.
Very great.
So-
Yeah.
What are you working in?
This is the one of the characters for the comic. This is reference art for it, so I'm gonna just the artist has something to go by. This
Excellent. Are
is
you
one
working
of the.
in Blender?
No, this is ZBrush.
Oh, ZBrush. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. I wish I could afford ZBrush.
It's a bit expensive, but I'd say worth it because of the things you can do with it. But I'm using several programs to create the cloth. One is called Marvelous Designer, which is a physics-based cloth program. You wouldn't be able to get results like that for the cloth otherwise. So they're both equally expensive, right?
Damn.
Awesome.
That looks great.
Really
All right,
nice.
unless you know where to pick them up, matey. Anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to show this because it does have a similar theme to Russ's death. Yeah,
It looks awesome, dude. You should
Yeah,
be
it's
very
really
proud
nice.
of that. Yeah. Looks
Yeah,
very
well,
good.
at some point, because you were talking about getting figurines done and what have you.
Yeah.
At some point, I definitely want a death figurine done.
Oh yeah.
And I'll probably try and crowdfund that at some point because I just love the character. So
I'll give
Definitely
you
see that being
the
done.
I know you special, so that'll be like the best stuff that I can possibly produce.
Special friends of Rick get special discount.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But I've got book 3 on the way next year. It's just been plotted at the moment. When I go for book 3, I think I'll go for a figurine as well.
So that means I'll start
Got about
working on it
70
now.
pages of barbarianism to go through first.
Yeah, if you start working on it now, by the time I get to book 3, I might have finished the Shadow Kingdom. Sorry, I almost misspoke then.
Yeah, it's interesting characters. This is one of the Lich Lords, I guess, for the book. He's one of the main antagonists, and he'll be like essentially annoying the main or the protagonist throughout the whole thing. So I try to get a little extra detail on him, his character, as much as I can.
Nice.
I like it.
From Screen Rant.
Comics.
Sorry.
Okay.
Story by Guillermo Curtin, which might not be his real name. The 10 best comic books ever ranked. Ever.
And what qualifications does Mr. Curtin have?
Probably have to look down.
What he's doing, he's trying to draw the situation to a close.
Yeah.
He works for Screen Rant. What
Very
more do you need
good.
to know?
Thanks. At least somebody got it.
These are all of
must
these
be an
lists
English
are
thing.
always
Yeah. Doctor, I feel like a set of curtains. Pull yourself together, man.
exactly. These are always subjective lists. You can't.
Yes.
It's just one person's, but it is the 10 best comic books ever. You know, naming the best comics of all time is no easy task. For these 3 decades, delivering an instant classic from Marvel, DC Comics, Image, Dark Horse, and many more. But a handful of famous comic books and graphic novels stand out above all the rest. The medium has been growing exponentially since its early days in the 20th century, gradually evolving mainstream culture and artistic approaches changed how comics and their characters are written with each passing decade. Seeing more great comic stories published, DC and Marvel have unsurprisingly created some of the most famous comics ever. But the likes of Dark Horse and Image spawned some gems as well. And seeing our ranking of the most iconic, acclaimed, or important comic books of all time. Thanks, pop-up ads, for slipping my screen all over the place. One publisher dominates the list. Yes. So what's number 10? Sin City by Frank Miller. Amen. Who are we past the 10-minute mark? We are. Good. So that we can swear. Anyway,
Yeah,
He's gonna
yeah, we can swear now.
who
Yeah.
Miller freely admits, quite frank, and this is a quote from him in an interview, as pure masturbation on a page.
If I was going to pick a Miller book for like number 10, I would probably say Ronin.
This person probably doesn't even know Ronin exists. When's the last time that book was reprinted?
I mean, that's if I go with like, original characters. I'd lean more towards his Elektra saga though for his Daredevil run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
And he stole that from Will Eisner. So,
I put some of my books together, which have had my favorite runs, and it wasn't one of them. So there you go.
This work with Batman and Daredevil is typically first to come to mind as writer and artist Frank Miller's best comics, but he's also written some classic non-superhero stories. One of the genre's best black and white comics, Dark Horse's Sin City, is an acclaimed neo-noir story set in a bleak authoritarian run town in the United States. The comic was revered for its approach and heavy inspiration from pulp and crime noir TV, movie, and magazine stories. Likewise, it presented an engrossing change of pace for Miller, writing Sin City more like a serialized TV movie crime drama in a comic book format. Though the second movie adaptation was poorly received, the initial 2005 movie received generally positive reviews. Okay, number 9, Preacher. And silence fills the room.
Is this Garth Ennis artwork?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Garth Ennis's Preacher, which I liked as a book, but it's not in my top 10.
I've not read it.
Do you know what? I've not read it. I feel like I should have. The artwork, from what I can tell, is wonderful. I just don't have it in my collection. But I did watch the series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how close that is. Yeah, right.
Exactly what Allison said.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed the series. So if it's better than the series, then I'm quite likely to enjoy the book.
It's better than the series. It's a good book. I mean,
yeah,
it's a deconstruction of elements, and it's fun.
Is this the character, the blonde guy actor who was in the jail who beats everybody up and they come after him? Is that the Preacher? Have I got the wrong one?
You might have the wrong one.
I think that's the wrong one.
I think that might be a film.
Basically, he has the voice of God.
So nothing to do with that.
There's kind of a blasphemy dial out there. And he takes that and turns it all the way up.
Yeah, it goes to 11.
Yeah.
Who's written this?
I understood that reference.
Garth Ennis wrote it.
Oh, he wrote and drew it.
No, he didn't draw it. I'm sorry. Steve Dillon did the covers. I forget who did the interiors.
So one of the comic book industry's big two publishers, DC Comics, is primarily known for its superheroes. However, their Vertigo imprint of comics spawned some timeless non-superhero classics. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's Preacher is one such cult hit, with the story centered around a grim supernatural religious disaster plaguing a small Texas town. Jesse Custer, the titular preacher, becomes possessed by a supernatural entity comprised of pure goodness and pure evil, possibly becoming the most powerful entity in the universe. The story takes its small scope and eventually branches out across the country, meaning a bizarre cast of characters.
Well, that part's right.
Yeah, that describes it. It does describe it.
It does describe it.
I don't agree with it being in the top 10, but that's a whole nother story. So.
But you know that a lot of these people will pick things that are purposely not mainstream pulp.
Yeah.
They'll do it on purpose. Yeah.
Clickbait.
Well, no, I don't just mean clickbait. I mean their views on comics will be well, obviously, the independent stuff or the stuff that's more hard hitting is obviously more worthy of praise rather than just pure entertainment.
Well, this is like the Rolling Stone running the 100 greatest guitarists of all time and leaving out Dave Gilmour, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I mean, what's that all about?
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
What?
Well, don't forget that's probably quite right, because he's just on his own, isn't he, Jimi Hendrix? So
or putting him on like number 99 or something like
somewhere up there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Name somebody else, like a bassist, like Victor Wooten.
I was going through this list and going, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Anyway, that's just me. All these lists are subjective. Onward, number 8. Batman: The Long Halloween.
Wouldn't have chosen that one. But
Never
fair enough,
heard
at
of
least
it.
it's a Batman.
The Dark Knight has amassed an impressive catalog of some of the medium's best comics, and Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's The Long Halloween frequently ranks among the most accomplished and influential, let alone best comics.
Oh, good job.
It's one of the best Batman comics to influence the Dark Knight trilogy, proving to be one of the best examples of the superhero's best traits. Hi, John. How you doing?
Excuse me.
I mean,
Yeah.
good.
Hi. I'm sorry. Was that a critique?
We told you it was. We told you that it was Sunday and that he was funny, and we were right.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Tim Sale is a phenomenal artist. And Jeff Loeb is probably one of the best writers working at DC today, if not the best, when it comes to comics. But anyway, I wouldn't consider that to be on a top 10.
As I said,
my
it's
pick for
good.
was Nightfall, actually. But
yeah,
that's the
Gotham
one
by
I enjoyed.
Gaslight comes to mind. Really quick.
Yeah,
And there's a
like that
number of
one.
other great products.
Yeah.
The story arc anchored by a detective thriller premise, Batman Year One, even highlighting an element of Batman that often goes criminally forgotten in live action. It does while still embracing the noir hero's dark mythical atmosphere and imposing physical prowess. The Long Halloween is an engrossing crime drama that reminds fans how masterfully grounded street level stories can be done.
Well, it was a good street level story, but I said Gotham by Gaslight I like better.
Yeah.
Batman Year One I like better.
And I think by far it was Brian Augustine's best writing work. Brian went on to be an editor for quite a few years over at DC. Number 7, any guesses? There it is.
Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
Tintin. Oh no, sorry.
Sorry, Tintin is not on the list.
Tintin is not on the list. Oh,
Well, it's
no.
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it is beautiful.
I will give it that. That is beautiful.
It is.
And it was a good read.
I don't know about that, but it was beautiful.
I liked it. Like I said, it's subjective.
Yeah. I found it to be a confusing mess myself, but
Fair.
It was a very difficult. Hello, birds. Very difficult to follow.
There's no way I would have put that anywhere near the top 10, though.
Yeah. Expanding the greater Justice League, Kingdom Come is a landmark comic in DC's pantheon of stories. This alternate canon comic was not really. They're
this
really
guy
trying
really
to get
knows
to
his comics, doesn't he?
Yes. Was a sort of meta deconstruction of superheroes as a concept. Veteran Mark Waid, an iconic artist, Alex Ross. Probably the only thing in this paragraph that I can totally agree on.
Ross bit.
Yes, Alex put together a mini-series that detailed the fall and prominence of the outdated traditional heroes and the rise of dangerous copycats. The traditional superheroes fall out of touch with changing times and new threats, just like today's politicians, with Batman's team trying to stop Lex Luthor in the impending conflict. It's a fascinating alternate tale that stands as one of the famous Elseworlds imprint's best comics.
Even the bird likes it.
Yeah, it's agreeing with you.
Again, Gotham by
I think the
Gaslight
Crow
is
is
not
saying
on this list. Neither is the last, or the, what is it? The Nail is not on this list either for Elseworlds comics.
What is it?
The Nail
is oh right, okay. I'd say as far as Elseworlds, because Elseworlds doesn't exist anymore, does it? Officially,
all depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, I mean,
I
would
never
say
was
that,
supposed to exist in the first place.
I would say there's plenty of Elseworlds material out there. Some of my favorite being Earth One, the Batman Earth One stuff, which is pretty good. I'd still rate Gotham by Gaslight.
Is that Straczynski wrote that?
I don't know.
I think he wrote Superman Earth One. Or yeah.
So
Anyway.
you didn't prepare a list for us to like your own list of the Randy's?
Me? I've
Yeah.
got a list. Yeah. It's
Okay.
not this list.
It's not this list. It's Jeff Johns.
He's checking it twice.
Jeff Johns and who?
Jeff Johns.
Oh, Jeff Johns and
Jeff Johns and Gary Frank.
okay, there we are.
Probably his best work because I didn't like a lot of the other stuff he's done.
I think Jeff's, but I'm partial to Justice Society anyway. But I think that's his best work. But that's me. I really like that team a lot. Number 6. Any guesses? Dead silence.
Rocket Raccoon.
No, he's
Dallas.
That's not even last. Does Dallas.
I'm just gonna go with. I'm gonna guess.
And I have to also tell you, this is the only Elseworlds book on there, and as far as I remember, and Crisis is not on the list.
Oh God,
what's on the list?
Crisis is not on the list. George Perez.
I'm gonna guess
Number
that
6.
for Watchmen on there somewhere. I'm gonna go with Watchmen. Let's do that.
No,
that's my guess. No.
Killing Joke.
Number 6. V for Vendetta.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right, but again, I don't know that it's top 10 for me, but
that was kind of good. Close.
It's good, yeah. Oh, yeah, without doubt.
It's damn good.
Brilliant, yeah.
I like the comic a lot more than I do the movie.
That's not saying much.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I've seen the movie. So.
Keep it that way.
Yeah. Alan Moore is also known for his work with a few DC superheroes, but V for Vendetta was another DC Vertigo comic that went.
It wasn't originally a DC Vertigo comic.
No, it wasn't. No, this was originally.
This guy really knows his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, really does. He's an ace. Des Shin's Warrior comic that the Warrior magazine that this first premiered in. Yeah.
You know, saying. When he says Alan Moore is known for his work with a fewer DC superheroes, it's like saying Paul McCartney wrote a few other songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sums it. That really does kind of sum it up.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's a dark political dystopia story where a fictional political party has successfully converted the United Kingdom into a gruesome neo-fascist police state.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow, what a good idea.
What a good idea was that? Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Main character is the titular V, sporting a classic Guy Fawkes mask, leading an anarchic revolution against the ruling oppressors. Given the intense premise, V for Vendetta tackles a variety of heavy political themes in a dense, elaborate story full of moral grays and extremes.
I once heard that Guy Fawkes was the only man who entered Parliament with honest intentions.
Yeah, that's about right.
Number 5.
Guy Fawkes was the Lee Oswald of his day.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Or the
like they make all this stuff, but
or is that
suddenly...
the perceived Lee Oswald of the day?
That's another conversation.
Listen, people.
I was just saying that this stuff isn't supposed to be a guidebook, on how to.
Yeah, that's 1984. Yeah, I think the government of the last 20 years has just been using that as a way of making policy, to be honest.
Guidebook, yeah, pretty much. Number 5, Batman: The Killing Joke.
Oh my God, that garbage title makes it onto every list. Oh, did I make my opinions known?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There we go.
Well, that is, I'm afraid, this is my guilty pleasure.
No, it being a guilty pleasure is fine.
Yeah. I love this book. And if nothing, just the art.
It's beautiful.
It's just the art that does it for me. I keep flicking through it. I just love it so much.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The artwork. Yeah.
I can't argue that.
And
I'm of the opinion that he kills the Joker in the end.
Well, that's rubbish.
Little Jamie has an opinion.
A bullshit?
But it was never supposed to be canon.
No,
should have been
ruined The Killing Joke. I think it's a fabulous story, but it is not canon.
Yeah.
It's an Elseworld story. Simple as that.
Yeah, I could take it as an Elseworld story. That's where I said with the way the reflection was done at the end. I'm at with the water. It's like if it's an Elseworld story and you killed the Joker, I thought that'd be perfect ending for it.
Yeah.
That he causes him to snap. But
as an Elseworld story,
yeah, as an Elseworld,
yeah,
it would never work. It never
exactly.
was supposed to be canon.
Yeah, if it was canon, he would never have killed him because that's not what Batman does, and that's why you get this confusion, and exactly why you get these polarizing opinions about the story when it should just be what a fantastic Elseworld story, full stop. I mean, right the way down to exactly. Yeah, we were agreeing on this completely. Right the way down to the way Brian Bolland draws the whole environment. It looks completely Elseworld to everything that you've seen other than this. It's
I mean, if I take it as an Elseworlds, I can put it as a guilty pleasure, but
but not a top 10. No.
It is by far classic Bolin, though.
Oh yeah, no, the art's amazing, and it's Alan Moore. It's not his best, but
I bet there's no 2000 AD on here either.
Oh no, it's
there's not no
either.
who.
No, there's no 2000 AD on here.
Oh no, I don't even think this writer knows what a 2000 AD is.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So no, that's.
No
foreign comics. It's all Americans.
And I would also
United States comics.
I'd also take a guess. I'm taking a guess here, and I may be wrong, but I bet there's no Swamp Thing on there either.
You would be correct, sir.
There you go. I thought so.
If I may jump in here with this here, when the Killing Joke came out, that was when we were doing the Batman commercials for Zellers. And you'll see that's bang. If you go and look at that stuff, I did, when I was doing the Joker in the Batman commercial, that's basically that was the time frame. That was before the Batman movie, and it was a transition time, in the styles of Batman. We were still doing a bit of the, the classic Batman cartoony aspect to it, and we didn't get into it. So anyway, it was. I remember I've got my copy of that I bought of The Killing Joke, and Ty Templeton was doing some layouts for us on the commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was doing some, Batman work, for DC at the time.
He's doing the animated Batman animated.
That came after. That came a couple of years after we did the commercials.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I jumped in historical context of having actually been there and done that. So
please do. That's interesting. Yeah. It's more interesting than The Killing Joke.
It's more interesting than this top 10.
As far as Batman, just give it a minute. As far as Batman goes, Moore and artist Brian Bolland created another one of those Cape Crusaders' best and most influential comics. Though Killing Joke was a 46-page one-shot rather than a fleshed-out series, the story told is impressively dense. Like The Long Halloween, The Killing Joke is instrumental as reference material for the Dark Knight trilogy, namely inspiring Heath Ledger's immortalized take on the Joker.
Sorry?
What?
Is dense as in I don't understand or what?
That was Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Good Lord. What is this bloke talking about?
It's one of the best comics the villain has featured in, and highlights how the clown Prince of Crime's excuse for embracing madness is nothing more than thinly veiling his cowardice that only Batman has called out. Whenever a major live-action adaptation aims to bring in the Joker, The Killing Joke is the best source material for understanding why he's such a compelling supervillain.
Hello, Curtin. Yeah, this is the editor of the site. The intern's got a list, and I just want you to prompt Chat GPT for an article, please.
Yeah.
Christ.
Basically.
What a load of rubbish.
The words in that article that ring true. Immensely dense.
That, I think, was 5. What do you think is number 4?
Thank you, Russ.
Great.
It's an English thing.
Yeah.
It's the marked sarcasm, I think.
Impressively dense.
What could possibly be next?
Oh God.
Batman dies.
Going from least to best.
Death of Superman.
Yes,
That's right.
okay,
Batman
good.
Year One.
Oh, year one. Right, they got one right.
Yeah, I don't know if I put it as 5, but yeah, they got one right. So
Yeah.
It's 5 or 4, one or the other. They don't number them, thank goodness. Anyway, origin stories can occasionally feel like a dime a dozen and have understandably worn out fans' patience over the years. However, Miller and Mazzucchelli's Year One is among the most definitive comic book origins. Late Dennis O'Neil started Batman's exceptional noir reinvention, and Year One was one of the comics that brought this evolution to a crescendo. Down to the pulp-inspired artwork.
One of the things I liked about Year One is he was more of the strange creature of the night.
Yeah. Down to the pulp-inspired artwork, it's a rich and atmospheric crime drama that shows fans how Bruce Wayne came to be Gotham City's watchful protector. Likewise, it served as a great parallel origin story for the soon-to-be Commissioner Gordon alongside Batman, depicting the two as flawed characters that are ultimately trying to do the best they can to bring justice to Gotham's systematic corruption.
As against fascists, which
systemic
they are
corruption. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Evil. Next.
Oh no, but I was going to say that I really like how they did how it was a Matt. I can't pronounce his name, but the artist for the illustrator for Year One. Really like how he did Gordon.
What, Mazzucchelli?
Mazzucchelli.
Yeah. It's brilliant stuff.
Really?
Sandman. Netflix series is decent.
I actually haven't watched it.
I haven't. No.
The best thing in the series was an add-on episode. They threw an episode in at the end.
Yeah, after the fact.
After they posted the series already, they stuck an 11th episode in, snuck it in, that has Night of 1,000 Cats adapted on it.
Oh, cool.
And it's animated. It's really nice.
Right. Might be worth just watching that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, I like the Sandman.
The Night of 1,000 Cats, though, is my favorite Sandman episode. The most iconic Vertigo series that DC published was its flagship, The Sandman, written by the great Neil Gaiman and illustrated by numerous artists.
Sorry, what was that? The most iconic Vertigo series that DC published?
Yes.
Was it
the most iconic? What? Watchmen wasn't Vertigo.
No, Watchmen wasn't Vertigo, but what was it? It was probably the best selling.
Swamp Thing.
Animal Man Vertigo too?
Swamp Thing wasn't Vertigo either.
No.
Was it not? I thought it was.
No, in fact, Swamp Thing butted heads with the Comic Code Authority way back when, towards the end of its run. Somebody at the Code Authority actually read the book and said, "Hey, you can't do that as a code book." They says, "Well, we've been doing it for the last year."
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
So there's a couple of episodes of Swamp Thing that doesn't have the CCA stamp on it.
Good.
For that reason.
What a shame.
Well, they were stuck. They already had everything was done and rolling. So it's like,
wasn't Animal Man Vertigo? Didn't they do a Vertigo Animal
Man? I don't think it was. I think that was regular DC as well.
Was it?
All right, because that was really
good
wrong. Too. It was about the same time frame.
Okay. Sandman is celebrated as Gaiman's magnum opus and praised for its eternal and surreal personifications of metaphysical concepts. The endless are these personifications as they embody some of the most powerful forces that make up the universe.
That's not wrong for what it is.
Yep.
Listen, I like Sandman. I don't know if it's in my top 10, but I like Sandman.
I think for impact, it would need to be somewhere in there. For a modern top 10. I've got a top 10 of all time that I made a list of.
Modern top 10, I would definitely say it should be in there. One modern, probably from the 90s.
I know it says numerous artists, but who's drawn that? Because it looks like sort of Barry Smith type of style, doesn't it? I'm sure it's not, but it looks like it.
No, there was a lot of different artists on there.
Yeah.
That almost looks like Vince Locke's material.
Right.
That looks like a Vince Locke drawing.
Yeah, I'm not sure who did that one.
I could
but
be-
Sam
could be
Keith
wrong, though.
started working out. Was the first
Yeah.
artist who worked on it.
Yeah.
I really liked his stuff on it too.
He had a rough time, though. I believe he's got
Oh yeah.
a bad tendonitis problem in his wrist. So
Oh, bummer.
he couldn't keep a regular, couldn't hold a regular schedule. So they had to bring other people in. Okay, next.
Sad.
No idea.
No idea. Next, of course, Batman:
Oh.
The Dark Knight Returns.
God.
Do you think maybe the writer kind of has an affection for Batman?
There's a lot of Batman
and Frank
titles. aren't
Miller,
there?
yeah.
Yeah,
and for Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And for Frank Miller.
This is the third Frank Miller book on the list too.
Probably the most popular Elseworlds Batman story. I forgot that was an Elseworlds story. As Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, while an unquestionable classic to most, some of its themes have been unfortunately misconstrued and subsequently glorified in the modern day. Well, that part he's probably got right. Despite
I would
this,
say that's right.
it remains a gripping action and politically dystopian set Batman arc portraying a more cynical, jaded version of the hero after the fall of most of its heroes. I think that's number 2. Yeah.
Is it?
The 150 plus year old, the 50 plus year old Bruce Wayne is compelled back into the cape and cowl after Gotham regresses into senseless crime and the U.S. government continually neglects the dying city. Oh, well, somebody was reading that book. Meanwhile, the same governing body has effectively turned the once great Superman into a political weapon and lapdog. Oh, somebody really was reading that book. Anyway. Okay. And of course, we have number 1, Watchmen.
Oh, that's imaginative.
That took a lot of deep thought.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, no Marvel, no outside of Sin City, no Dark Horse, no Image.
Well, but Watchmen is on my list.
Yeah, Watchmen would be on my list.
Definitely, yes. Yep.
Yeah, Watchmen would be my list. I do have a list of 10 things that I would have, but it's so difficult to. I mean, this whole sort of clickbaity list of 10s is terribly difficult to.
We all know
to do
we all know
properly anyway.
about Watchmen, so we don't we don't have to follow that article, the rest of that, right? Okay, good. All right.
It's like saying who's your favorite, who's the best comic book artist, and it's like
Who's your daddy? What?
Yeah, so many of them do so many things their own way. It's subjective.
Do you have a list? Do you have a list, Russ?
I've got a list. I've got a whole set of books sitting here that you can hold on 2 seconds.
Yeah, Russ's number 1 is Wonder Twins.
Or the modern Sugar and Spike miniseries done by Keith Giffen, where they're all grown up and ghost hunters. That's great. Anyway,
right. Okay, no, but
he's got a book poop, folks.
I'm finding this difficult to put in order. I couldn't give you an order on these.
Right.
I could just say the top 10 favorites.
It's your top 10 books. The order doesn't matter. It's your top 10 books.
So the run on Warlock with Jim Starlin. Just because it's crazy.
That's damn good.
You up there.
I absolutely love that stuff. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? That's
good.
the graphic novel version. The original run of ABC Warriors.
Another great book.
There you go.
Yeah.
And hey, kids, if you don't know what that is, you need to look that up.
Yeah.
ABC
The
Warriors.
original run.
Yeah.
The original run, although the second run was brilliant as well, Judge Death.
Oh yeah, the original Judge Death.
Yeah.
Part of Judge Dredd and Brian Boland.
Boland is hype. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Yep.
And just, brilliant writing. Was that Pat Mills?
I think
No, John
so.
Wagner. John Wagner.
John Wagner.
Again,
Mills was having his handful running the whole boat at that point, probably.
Anything from anywhere on the Buscema run of Conan.
Savage Sword of Conan.
There you go. Any of that stuff. And I do have lots of magazines down there. It's just, this is a lovely compendium to have.
Mm-hmm.
The original run of Captain Britain, because it's beautiful crap. It's great.
Herb
It's
Trimpe.
just
again.
great. I just love it.
Herb Trimpe and Chris Claremont knocking it out.
It's magic rubbish, and it's wonderful. I love it. Absolutely love it. Steranko, the whole run of Steranko's Shield.
Oh, I love his Shield.
It's classic.
We have 3 episodes of that over at Comics
yeah.
by Night for anybody that wants to see some of that.
So I'll just drop these down before I drop them completely.
Yeah,
I'll
don't
just
drop
put
them on the floor.
There you go. Put them down there nicely, so don't drop the rest of them. The Buscema and Sinnott run on Fantastic Four in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that particularly, I like this story here, where the Herald of Galactus turns up and he's
Gabriel.
He's got the horn. Yeah, the Horn of Gabriel, and also the story with the Overmind and the Stranger, and they're effectively the combined consciousnesses of 2 ancient civilizations.
So Gabriel's got the horn.
Yeah, he has constantly, and if in the end the Overmind is shrunk down to the quantum world, that's just a fantastic story, and the artwork is sublime.
Who's written the story? Is it Roy Thomas?
I can't. It could well be.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah.
Obviously, Watchmen is there.
Yeah.
All right.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that Watchmen would not be in there? I actually really liked, and this may have something to do with the time that I read it, but the whole Nightfall series, I got them in their paperback versions. But I absolutely loved that story. I thought it was fabulous.
That's probably
a guilty pleasure.
Kelly Jones at his height, right?
Yeah. And I just thought that was great. And then, of course, I could say this was very close to the top, is the complete run of Swamp Thing and his journey to hell to get back the love of his life.
More Bassett and Toddleben.
Yeah, which is just, it's life changing. You read that and you kind of like, geez, wow. And the artwork is fabulous. I've got it all in black and white as well, and it's just a fantastic run. And I've got like 12 of these, and you read through those. I don't have the original run, but the story is just fabulous. So there you go. There's a top 10
somewhere. Yeah.
Hopefully quite diverse. So there you go. I don't have much indie in there, but obviously I've got the 2000 AD stuff. So
probably a much better top 10 than what we just went through.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
That was a better top 10 than we just went through.
If you didn't have a list, it would be better than one we've just been watching.
But it is. I mean, I picked those out because a lot of those mean a lot to me. And exactly as Alison was saying, it is such a subjective thing. And there's so many other things up on my collection that I can look at and go, oh wow, that's just so good as well. So it's so difficult to make a list. I think it's probably easier to make a list of the bum ones, like that was crap.
the crappiest books of all time.
Yeah, 10 crappiest books of all time.
That's probably
if I
true.
made a list, I'd probably get laughed out of the room.
No, because it's all about personal opinion.
Yeah, it's just that we understand the context of your viewpoint. So you wouldn't get laughed out of the room. We'd just go, "Oh, dude, you need to sit down and read this, and this."
We'd laugh about you once you'd left.
Yeah, probably.
but the top 10 or whatever is what influences you the most. I mean, it speaks to you the most. I mean, it's all clickbait. It's all like, what reprints can we sell? By putting this thing, by putting this stuff on the internet. I mean, there's no historical context, with any of this stuff. I mean, really, for important stuff, you should go back to what made comics work.
Yes.
And what really reached out to people at their particular age. But what influences an artist the most? I mean, that's and the writer. I mean, if what you're looking is just to sell what you've got in store or stock of what you plan to be reprinting, that's something else.
I never realized how entrenched Screen Rant was with DC and Frank Miller.
Yeah.
That was a lot of Frank Miller in DC. And they also had a lot of Alan Moore, though. So
got a new comment coming in there.
Oh, I'm sure there's comments here. We've been
like there used to be a phrase in programming. It's like nobody ever gets fired for hiring IBM.
Yeah.
because even if IBM cock up, they've got such a big imprint. Everyone knows IBM. It's like, well, you didn't make a wrong decision. It's IBM, you know. And it's the same with this. It's like, oh well, let's put some Alan Moore and some Miller on there, and you know, we're bound to get it right somewhere.
Squish it, smear it around a little bit. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The thing that got me the most, you all know this. I was 11 when this came out. You know which one it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's an amazing story.
It is.
And like I always say, you know, it came between Galactus and the Black Panther, one issue, and that had the most profound effect on me and my looking at the way I read comics. I was 11 when that came out. You know, lucky enough to have seen it first time around.
I think it influenced a lot of people that were kids during that time. Yeah.
Yeah. But that particular issue is those guys at the top of the game, you know, Kirby and Sinnott and Stanley with his silly words. It still works. And that one issue, I'd find it difficult to make a top 10. It's like having a top 10 films or musicians or albums.
Yeah.
You change, you know. But if you held me down, so to speak, there would probably be the same 15 hovering around.
Yeah.
Which order they were in.
Yeah.
You know, on any given day, I would. I've said this before. If I was to be stranded on a desert island, and I can only take one film, I would take 2001. But if you put Blade Runner there, I might take that one. Do you understand what I mean? So it's where you are at the time.
Yeah, if 2001 wasn't available, you'd take that as a second.
Exactly.
Best, happy,
So, you know, and but then I think that Shawshank Redemption is probably the greatest film ever made. Work that one out.
Okay.
I might be thinking, you know, That Thing You Do with me.
The what now?
That Thing You Do, Tom Hanks. You know, the song. You don't know that
oh movie? No, I'm familiar with the movie. You consider that to be one of the top, huh?
Oh no, I know. If I had to watch it over and over again, I mean that's a simple thing. I mean, you know,
yeah. If I had to take a film that I had to watch over and over again, it would probably be Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
yeah.
It'd be Star Wars for me.
Because Bill Murray's
already did that with A New Hope. Funny. So
that's basically what I would do. I would take that.
Bill Murray's greatest moment for me is in Stripes when they all come out when they've been up all night practicing. Army training, sir. You know that one. What kind of training, son?
Army training.
Army training.
That's great.
That sequence is absolutely brilliant.
It really brought War and Oates to my attention. Pretty hard. It's just great. Just a class. That and the use of a spatula. So.
I was just impressed the way that
he holds up the ice cream scoop.
Yeah, when those guys, when they all wake up and they all come out scruffy and there's that big parade going on, the way they do all that thing with the rifle and all that, they must have practiced for weeks and weeks and weeks to do it right.
Oh yeah,
because it's perfect. It's just absolutely brilliant.
In high school, I was on the trick drill team, so I mean, we used M1s and blades.
Wow. So you can
Don't
do that.
Mess with John.
Yeah, that was my Xavier high school time. So
I tell you, one of the greatest things I ever saw to do with that kind of thing with my own eyes was at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Washington.
That's the old guard. Yes.
And those guys walking towards each other and turning and clicking the heels. And he held his hand out full length. And his garand was sitting on the end of his fingers, straight up at right angles with his arm. I mean, I don't know what those things weigh, but they're not light, are they? And
no, those are. Yeah, those are M1s with blades, and that's 10 pounds, and the blade is another half pound, so it's 10.5 pounds.
Right. But it was just absolutely incredible. And the guy came out, the sergeant guy came out, and he told everybody to be quiet, and you were. You were. I'm telling you. He said, "You will be quiet. You will not make any." And everybody's going like, "Shit," you know. and everybody was quiet, you know, because everybody was yakking before that. It was really funny, really scary. Yeah. Anyway,
that's the point, right?
Yep.
John, do you have a list?
I can do a show and tell, but the thing for me it's I'm from a whole different universe. Okay. So let me just I'll just show and I'll tell
Sure.
and why.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that?
Yep.
Sounds great.
There you are.
This is the last Marvel, Captain Marvel, Family Marvel a book.
And I never saw that cover until after I did a 3-part video run over on my page about the history of Captain Marvel. And that cover is genius.
Yes.
Because that's the last time they ever appeared anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the
then
whole
they were done.
point of the
That
story
was
is that
it.
they disappeared.
Yeah, that was it, and that's Schaffenberg.
Do you know
When's
those?
that from, John? What year is that from?
This
53,
is 1953.
53.
53.
Yep.
Yeah, 1953. I got
Right.
this here. I picked this up in from I think I was about 10 or 11 years old, and the neighborhood barber had a stack of comics,
There you
and
go.
I said, can I
Back
buy
when-
this from you? And he says, well, it's old. And I said, yeah, but I kind of like, I'd never heard about Cap, but this is 1959 that I bought it. So it's a 6-year-old comic. He said, that's old. So I got it for $5, 5 cents. Rather.
5 cents.
5 cents.
Yeah.
5 cents. So I picked up, and so I learned about Captain Marvel, and I
Yeah.
knew Superman, I knew Batman, all of that, but like, who is this guy? So anyway, and the whole thing of like Shazam and the fantasy element, that was something else. Okay.
Because
So-
the thing with Captain Marvel too, especially that issue that you have, that was under an agreement with DC. The court case had already been settled.
Mhm.
DC allowed them to finish off their inventory.
Yeah.
So the last issue of the last appearance of Captain Marvel, they knew what DC was going to do or what they were doing with the property.
Yeah.
They all disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing
story.
about it is that you could see by the silhouettes who the characters are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But what a
understanding
wonderful
silhouette
statement from the company of just flipping the bird and going, we're out of here. Done. We're done.
So okay, so you get again. I bought all of these off of the newsstand, so none of this is from the. So this is one of my two.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Amazing
Ooh.
Spider-Mans.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. It's a great
I-
copy.
I bought 2 of them because I knew I liked the character. I mean, I'd see. I had amazing adult fantasy, and I don't know whatever happened to it as a young kid, but I did have it. So, but getting this here, I said, okay, this is really cool. The whole idea of the anti-hero, and such. It was new, and that that influenced me in terms of my attitudes about comics, and how to make comics, because I wanted to be a comic book artist at the time, and and the idea of writing stuff where you've got someone who is supposed to be heroic, but was looked upon as, and basically Spider-Man was a threat to everybody. He wasn't a friend back then.
Even though he kept calling himself your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, but you know what? This is still number one. I mean, when he hadn't this is the germ of the idea, and it hadn't been developed yet. It takes a few issues for that to happen, and they only came out like once every 2 months.
Yeah, that's when you tried to join up with the Fantastic Four.
Well,
And,
he tried. That's it. Well, that's his first time around, because that's the whole idea. Is that okay? I'm going to do this, and I'll join up with them because they were the new cool kids in town. So he wanted to be number 5. He wanted to be Neil Young with Grosby Steels and
Yeah, basically. Yes.
Plus, he needed the money.
Yep.
Yes, that's
I was
right.
going to say, he was doing it for
He
the
was
money.
hoping it was a paying gig. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't get paid?
Yeah.
Plus, they were just trying to tie it in so that we would buy the other comic.
That too.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. So okay, so some of the fun stuff here is with again, I'm like 11 years old, and to hear that Captain America is back,
Yeah.
that was fun. It was the first time I was able to see a Kirby, Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. Is that the one that's not Captain America
Yes,
that they're
that's
using
the
as a
first
test?
one.
Yeah, I have that issue.
Okay,
They were
So.
testing the waters to see if
Yep.
there would be any reaction, and that the book
that's
sold
right.
incredibly
We wanted to
well.
see,
Yeah.
should we even try this thing?
Yeah.
Will it work? And you note, I mean, that's that was the fun. That was fun to me. And I said, okay. And then, oh, he's fake. But I was smart enough to know, oh, they're testing the waters out. So that's why when I got this one, I said,
Oh, there you
okay,
go.
Wow.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yours
Yep.
is in a lot better condition than mine.
Well, these are in again. I bought these. Everything is off of the newsstand.
Right.
Okay, so but they were underneath my bed for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's just falling apart. So.
Oh well, sorry. Yeah, that's. Well, one of the things about these comics is that they, again, you have there's the way the paper was, and it wasn't a very good paper back in those days.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Cheap
this
newsprint.
runs again with Sergeant
There you
Fury and meets Captain America. That is again those were two of my favorite. Like I really liked Sergeant Fury and the Commandos.
Cool.
That really had the first time that you saw Captain America with Bucky in one of those out of the World War II comics stories, and so again, it was one of my favorites there. Okay, Fantastic Four #4 with the Submariner.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a lot of key issues you've got there.
Yeah, you're making me jealous.
Wow.
Yeah. And this one, I actually lent this to somebody, and that's what happened to this book. But it was in pristine condition. But it's still, I get okay. I'm like like 12 years old or 13 years old. I lent it, and that's what happened. But anyway, it's still the thing about this here is the family situation with the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's the introduction of love interest with Sue Storm and Namor.
Namor, the homewrecker.
Yeah. Okay. This one here is, again, I don't have #5, but this is one of my favorite Fantastic Fours.
Okay.
Ooh.
#6 with Dr. Doom, Namor, and they were teaming up. And again, the Sue Storm and Namor connection, love interest there. Let's see here. Hope you don't mind. This is kind of show and tell.
One of the things with those early, no, you're great. In fact, one of the things I didn't realize until a few years back, Marvel used to put those word balloons in really thick outlines.
Oh yeah,
so that they could cut those out and paste them on.
Yeah. Well, at that time,
onto the cover, just
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is that it made them different from the from the DC comics.
Yeah.
That had regular word balloons. This one here, again, it's in the same line of with the Namor and Fantastic Four thing, is in terms of this annual.
Yeah.
The fact it's a 35-page developed and one shot, and the story really talks about Namor.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's writing this probably would take about 12 issues today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
The condensed the compressed storytelling, is great in this. It's very satisfying, and I would, for anybody who wants to do stuff and learn how to do comics, all of this here, I mean, whatever you can get, to some reprints and what have you, just studying this is just gold.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You don't have to spend, a ton of money going to school for this. Now, here's where we go into some areas where, again, it's early time, and seeing Iron Man #1 the first time, this is the kind of stuff that you.
Thought my Silver Age stuff was good. Jesus Christ!
That's in a good shape too. Look at that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the spine on that. Looks pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the ranking would be, but I don't care.
Who cares? It's awesome.
I hear you.
It's 12 cents. It's a 12-cent comic that I put in.
Oh yeah.
I don't care. Again, these are all part of that how would I get treasures from under my bed,
Yep.
That's what was it. Now this is one of my favorite, really, because I think it's Kirby, and it's very personal to him probably, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm taking out of this here.
Out of the Mylar.
It's Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos #1.
What a collection! Jeez.
You have all the Marvel keys, don't you? Just
yes, pretty much. Yes,
that's amazing.
Because I knew what I was doing. I mean, 12 years old.
You knew.
I looked at it and I said, "Okay, I'm buying what I like." Now, there is so much humor, action, drama in this stuff, and his drawing of human. I mean, to me, Kirby is at his best when he was doing the early Commandos.
Okay.
Because of his personality, and also they killed some of the Commandos back then. I think it was Junior who died. There were some things
about the Howling Commandos.
Pardon?
I don't know a lot about the Howling Commandos. It's a gap in my knowledge base on the.
Yeah. Well, the Howling Commandos. It's like it's Kirby doing his World War II experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they ever did an Essentials on that material either.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
Look.
I would have bought it if they did, so I don't think they did.
Yeah,
I'd have it if they did. I don't remember having it. So.
Well, and this is the last one from this pile of stuff that I got here. This is my baker's dozen really. There is this one here is Hulk #2.
Oh,
the first time you see him as the Green. I don't know what happened to number 1, but I've got I've got 4 out of the original 6.
6, yeah.
And
that's sweet.
That was a test, and for some reason they didn't go. I was really disappointed when they.
Plus, he fights the terror of the Toadmen.
Yes, the terror of the Toadmen. That's right.
You know how terrifying Toadmen are.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Anyway, so
especially when they look like apes.
Yeah.
So anyway, these are just samples of the stuff that influenced me as an artist. So you take that, you take the original bit of from Marvel when they were just trying to just survive, and had maybe they could do only 6 titles.
That's all it. Yeah, that's all the space they were allowed per month on the rack.
Right. So they rotated. That's how they rotated their thing. I mean, I wish I had my my Rawhide Kid, but I bought some of the original. I bought the reprints and whatnot from the Marvel masterpieces and whatnot. But to me, there's nothing like opening up the book and just looking at it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's, and
nothing matches that experience.
Yeah, no, and being there and seeing it, and so I have a problem. Well, the mix of fantasy with the Fawcett material,
Mhm.
with the caricatured reality of Kirby and Stan Lee
Mhm.
pulling together all these anti-heroes. That's where I kind of left Superman alone, because they were boring.
Yeah.
Basically, the DC was boring, and that's why.
Wayne boring. Yeah.
Yes, well, listen, no, Wayne he was a cool guy. I mean, I worked with him. I mean,
Yeah.
So, but the thing about it is that those early Superman stuff was brilliant in terms of, because it was for a world, it was a product of the Great Depression, where they
Yeah.
wanted somebody to save them, and he was
Yep.
always going after the crooked politicians, the slumlords, standing up for the coal miners and the union shops and things of that sort. That's a very different hero than what eventually he became to compete with Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened is when Fawcett lost that lawsuit, they stopped producing Captain Marvel material, even though at that point Captain Marvel was the top-selling comic, one of the top-selling comics on the stand. I think there were a couple other ones that were right up there with it.
Right.
But when they stopped, all of those writers, most of the artists, jumped over to DC and started working on Superman, because they were real happy to bring him in and have them work on their stuff, because these guys had the reputation of selling books.
Right, and well, the same thing with Schaffenberger. Working on Superman. I mean, immediately, I that was the first thing I saw when I opened up that Marvel, the last Marvel Family comic. I said, wait a minute, this is the same guy that's drawing, Superman for Lois Lane.
Yeah, he did Lois Lane for years. Yeah. He did. He did a little bit of Captain Marvel work when he got back, when they started doing Shazam again.
Yeah, but I looked at that when I was doing when I was buying. I bought up a bunch of that, and when it first came, and I thought, you know what, the new stuff was really just crap.
Yeah,
I mean, even though it was Otto Binder and C.C. Beck, I mean, the fact of the matter is that it just was just terrible. Well, no, Binder wasn't doing those.
Binder was gone by that point. Yeah.
It
was Denny O'Neil trying to do that kind of thing.
But he never understood it. Yep. He never understood the light touch.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel never tried to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
The humor was played straight.
Mm-hmm. That's why Beck got so upset and left during that run of Shazam. These writers are crap. They're just terrible. They don't. They have no idea how to write the character, and they just left. Just gave up in the middle of a story. And
one of the greatest things for me was coming across Kirby in the mid-60s, and then obviously a couple of years after that, my favorite film came out. That I think the best one ever made, 2001, and then we covered this on Comics by Night. And 10 years after that, we had this. We had Kirby, my favorite artist, doing my favorite film, which is incredible.
Yeah,
and that's just my opinion, just the way I see it. But this is a fabulous piece of work.
Well, no one can argue with what's your favorite work. I mean, it's your opinion; it's valid.
Yep. Oh, and the thing is that it's good to see what influences you as a person, because when you're fertile ground, that's what was going to grow in there. And it really depends on where you are when you're influenced. That's all. So
I think it's difficult for everybody to agree on what's good and what's bad, because
it's all subjective.
However,
as long as you're not saying The Death of Superman is your favorite book, because you're just wrong.
However, you can objectively look at certain things
for that.
And say they are excellent.
So,
for instance, we can sort of talk about whether The Killing Joke should have been canon, shouldn't have been canon. It shouldn't have been. All right, that's a personal opinion, but you can look at Bolland's artwork and say that's excellent.
Yes,
anybody who says No argument. Anybody who says that is not objectively excellent artwork is an idiot.
That's all I see when I see that book. I don't like the story.
No,
I don't,
and that's fine.
But
because
I just look at the artwork. It's superb.
And that's absolutely fine because that's personal opinion. And like I say, I think we can all agree to disagree about what's good, what's bad, because it comes down to personal opinion.
Right.
But we can all objectively look at certain things and go, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at the 2001 Space Odyssey artwork from Jack Kirby back in the day and go, damn, that's iconic. That's amazing.
Yeah. Whiskey's having a hard time holding on, I think. He's trying to come back.
It's all that whiskey.
All that whiskey.
All that whiskey.
I have a list.
And that's the kind of thing that you can do, you know?
Yeah.
So,
book that changed me.
Yeah.
Akira.
Whiskey, you dropped out, popped back in, having a hard time sticking?
Yeah, my internet's dying.
Oh boy, that's not good.
He's just getting bored.
In order to balance out
that
that Screen Rant article, I wrote a list of my favorite Marvel runs, and they're not one particular issue or just Marvel has had so many phenomenal runs of great comics, great readable comics that folks just anymore especially don't pull enough attention to, like the Kirby Fantastic Fours, the Ditko Spider-Mans. One of my favorites was the Byrne Austin Claremont X-Men run.
Yeah, that's my favorite run of X-Men.
That's Gene Cole and Daredevil.
You can't, Gene Cole and Daredevil. That's on that list. Starlin's, Captain Marvels, and Warlocks are there. Tomb of Dracula.
Tomb of Dracula.
The entire run of Shang-Chi's, the entire run of Tomb of Dracula. You can't
Tomb of Dracula.
Tomb of Dracula is amazing. Well, as soon as you get past like issue 2, because it's a little weird for the first couple.
They were finding their footing. You know, they're just
also
wading through the swamp.
Wolfman at that time.
Once Wolfman and Colan get on it, and it's like it just takes off like an old hammer.
Amazing.
Just great. Yeah. The McGregor Russell Killravens.
Yeah,
Killraven
are phenomenal. And that story starts out wandering, and it starts out with Neil Adams and the Crusty Bunkers. Howard Chaykin's on a little bit of that for a couple of issues in Amazing Adventures, and then Herb Trimpe comes on with probably Roy Thomas, I think, at the time, and it turns into really good bad comics. You know, and then Don McGregor comes in and completely turns the property around into something philosophically deep and just amazing top-notch material with P. Craig Russell on there, also finding his footing in sequential art.
I know what you need to do for Comics by Night at some point. Grimjack with Tim Truman's art.
That's true too. Yeah.
I love Tim Truman.
One of my favorite runs, Steranko's Fury run, Miller's Daredevil, Gene Colan's Daredevil too. But one of my favorites growing up was the Defenders. Even
I was about to say, there's some great pulpy runs like the Kang War, the Kree Skrull War, the Defenders Avengers War. You know, it's just like all that stuff is just so readable and so rereadable, just great fun.
The whole first 50 issues of Defenders are just, and they're running all over the place. And we've mentioned it before on either here or Comics by Night. The great stuff about the Defenders is they never wanted to be a team. No. They'd all get together, fight a menace, and then all swear they're never going to get back together again. And then at the start of the next story, they all got back together again, fight a menenace.
That was a bunch of comics I picked up when I was a kid that ended up in the skip, and that was a whole run of Defenders comics from the UK. They were UK reprints, but they were I loved them. They were great.
And it was pulpy. It was just solid, great fun, like the Englehart Sal Buscema run on Captain America.
Yeah. I was about to say Sal really found a home there, didn't he? It made it his.
I like it. I also like Sal's Spectacular Spider-Man run.
Yeah.
Speaking about Spider-Man, while you guys were while I was dying there with the internet, I put together a list of some of my top 10s here. You can all laugh at it later, of course. But let me put the screen up here. Start cam. There we go. Where is it?
There we go.
Gambit 2004 with Layman and Genty and Robinson. These were really an influential comic to me because, like, I always loved Gambit as a kid, watching the cartoons and stuff. And this is one of the first comics that I started really like to buy as like a serial. And I had most of the issues over the years, but I've since lost them or sold them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's this is particularly cool because he's in the comics. He's fighting zombies, and then he Gambit explodes the because he has the kinetic energy thing where he can like light something up. Well, he explodes some of the zombies in the thing, and I always that really kind of resonated with me because I love zombies and I love Gambit, so it's one of my favorite runs. Speaking about zombies, the next one you guys may be familiar with that.
As a guilty pleasure for me as well. I've got all the zombie books. They're brilliant. I love them.
Yeah, fantastic. Just artwork, fantastic story across the board. I've mentioned this one before. There's a specific comic, the Enough Said Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I got a whole bunch of stuff from Thor that I just didn't get to my list. Yeah.
Another one here is the Civil War series.
Okay.
I've got that one. Marvel. Yeah.
Maybe not everybody's favorite, but pretty decent. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this one, but Super God, Warren Zealous and Gastini. It's kind of a really interesting story where the different governments of the worlds create their own like superheroes, but it all goes completely wrong, right? And they use like archetypes of their different cultures, and you have like Ganesh is like one of the characters or like one of the superheroes, and it's a very graphic, slightly disturbing, interesting take on more for adults, I would say. I don't know. It's really quite good.
Yeah.
But
who printed that? Because that title I'm not familiar with at all.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I haven't seen that one.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I'm surprised I haven't seen it.
I actually only read the digital version of it, but it's really quite good. Like
while that doesn't offend me, at all, I'm surprised they got away with that.
What's an adult comic? Probably from a side publisher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's not something Marvel or DC would have probably taken a chance on.
Yeah,
except for maybe the Vertigo or Epic lines.
Didn't somebody recently do one with Jesus in it or something, and it was removed?
They had a Green Lantern, Green Arrow, where they tied a guy up to a airplane engine, opened or crossed up like that.
That's not quite the same thing, is it?
Made quite a stink at the time.
They did the Punk Rock Jesus by Sean Murphy.
Yeah, but again, I didn't hear that getting any kind of bad press from anyone.
No.
I think it depends on. I think the iconography of it, like this, it's like it's okay because you'd have to be pretty. You'd have to be pretty anal to get upset about that. I think so. Those voices are very small. It's when you start getting involved in direct comparisons. I mean, for instance, like the life of Brian back in the day, when Christianity was still a big part of the establishment in the UK, got a right royal hard time. It really did, because it was all about comparisons, wasn't it? It was all about actually looking deeper, whereas just a bit of iconography tends to get.
The best way to make people think is to make them laugh.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie.
I have this World War Hulk as well. I quite enjoyed this.
That and Dogma, I think, are just great blasphemous films.
Yeah.
That are
I think it's a good choice, Whiskey.
Genius. Yeah.
I like
as far as Super God goes, I really liked it because like it's just like if you've never read it, I really highly recommend reading it. Like one of the English Super God, they send some astronauts to space, and they get sort of like cosmic rays going on. They come back, and he's turned into this like giant mushroom person, and then all the English people and scientists start worshiping him, right? And it's just a fantastic thing. And then like the same time, like the other super gods from the different culture, like like cultures are fighting each other, and one like turns like the Chinese what's it called, the Communist Party into like a organic space probe. It gets more wild from there, and like it's a great. It just sends them all launching into space. So super
people.
God, I highly recommend if you never
Definitely
played.
sounds like Warren Ellis is having a thought experiment.
And here's the last comic on the list here is something I actually never got to read many of, but I always liked the art of, and which was when I was, but it was one of the first comics that I ever bought when I was a young lad, which is the Fathom series here.
I have a soft place in my heart for Fathom.
Michael Turner.
Yeah. That's one of the only reasons I have Civil War issues is because he did the covers of a bunch of them.
There you go.
I always found as a younger lad, I got a poster for this stuff, and I had the couple comics.
Surprised they haven't tried to make a movie out of that.
They did. They when Michael Turner was alive, they actually were working on a movie for it, and he kept getting the scripts. He's like, "This isn't my character." I was like, "No."
Totally believable. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So we actually have some more comments as well. We have in the chat there.
I see one. Red Dress Press. Hail, Chris. Hail, everyone.
Hey, Chris.
Crystal McGee's in the house. Thanks for listening today, Crystal. Deeply appreciate you being here.
Mike Turner. It's funny because he was very much known for his women, and a lot of women really liked his books. Like I know a lot of other women comic fans, and they basically collected Mike Turner.
He did Witchblade as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did Witchblade. That's basically where he really made his bones. I mean, he started with like the Ballistic miniseries where he did his own thing, but he was doing like trading cards.
That was Extreme, right? At the time, Liefeld's side
it was,
of Image.
Top Cow. He worked
for
for
Top Cow. Okay.
Yeah, he was doing trading cards for like Cyberforce characters and things like that. And Silvestri was like, "You got to put him on a book." And
what happened to him?
He died of cancer.
Yeah, died of cancer quite a while ago.
Yeah, back in 2008, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He was very young.
Right at the peak too of what he was doing. So
he was about to do a big thing with Marvel. He was literally about to go do. He was going to do a big run on Wolverine.
Yeah,
and he'd beaten cancer and it came back. It was some type of a bone cancer or something. I can't remember, but they had to like remove a big.
That sounds right. Yeah,
out of him.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Dave about him, Dave Finch, I asked him, and he said he was like one of the nicest guys in the world.
I heard the same thing.
And he was just so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
His art was very spectacular.
Yeah. Comic strips, adventure strips. Favorites? Anyone?
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
Frank Bellamy's Garth.
No, of course. Yeah.
Flash Gordon's my favorite adventure strip.
Alex Raymond?
Yep, Alex Raymond's run.
The Raymond run. What Sid I want to say Sid Barry. Was it Jim O'Keefe, right? Was running it through the 70s. Those were the ones that I was reprinting. And there was a great time period there that King Features went around and found all these other artists to do 1 week at a time. So I was reprinting in Flint Comics that run, and suddenly an Al Williamson strip would pop up, or a Wally Wood strip would pop up, or there just some great artwork that just out of the blue. Go through and look, because I download everything like a month at a time, and boom, there's a who else did they have? Williamson.
Didn't they? There was in Mac Graybo.
Yeah, there. Ramita did one. There, Cooper did one. There were all sorts of just these classic artists were like, "Yeah, I'll draw the Sunday strip for Flash Gordon for a week. Here you go." Great, just
I like amazing Judge Dredd and Axa.
Yeah. Judge Dredd, Axa.
Is that the Ron Smith on the strip, isn't it?
Ron Smith on the strip, yeah.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
Not my favorite Judge Dredd artist, but still just a spectacular artist. Yeah.
I'm going to point out something that's really interesting. Being a New Yorker, I remember, was it Mary Perkins Backstage.
Yes.
And that was a really well drawn and very, it was a soap opera, but it was Broadway. It was that sort of thing I found very interesting, especially the Sunday pages.
I always group that in with Apartment 3G and Judge Parker, maybe Mary Worth in on that. Just soap opera adventure strips that were always, that ran for decades. Brenda Starr, reporter, ran for decades. You know. But of course, Prince Valiant.
Right.
I got on that list. Modesty Blaze, which we can't forget about. The local Detroit paper ran that for decades. Just amazing stuff. Williamson's Star Wars run.
Oh, that was great.
We'll look at that at a future Comics by Night. I promise. I've got that in hardback as a set. It's just beautiful.
Oh, you have to talk about Steve Canyon.
And Steve Canyon,
and Terry and the Pirates.
Milt Caniff's
Oh
work.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Manning's Tarzan. Just sits there. So few people talk about it anymore, but it's such a classic. IDW reprinted all of that in beautiful hardbound volumes. That's just amazing.
I need to get a collection of the classic Buck Rogers strips, because I had a book when I was a kid, but it was like a paperback book that had a bunch of collections of strips, and I remember the thing that impressed me was the Frazetta art in it. But I really want to read the classic strips at some point.
Did a run of famous Funnies covers. Frazetta did that are just iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, it had reprints of those covers in it.
Yeah.
And
just beautiful.
Basically, it's reprints of the famous Funny Buck Rogers stuff. So
it's really hard to make the conversion. The pages were so big back then that when you reduce it down to what there's 7 the comic book size thing, it doesn't work.
No.
No.
That's why a lot of those old reprint volumes are huge. You get the old Prince Valiant books, they're the size of the Marvel Treasuries. Right. They did Little Nemo in that size as well, because it's just the artwork on that is phenomenal.
That's an amazing strip.
Yeah. It's back when you could take a whole week on a Sunday page, and these guys got paid so well that they could take their time on it and turn it into pieces of art. Hal Foster's Prince Valiant's the other big one that I tell everybody, if you ever get see an exhibition of comic strips, that's definitely probably one of them, and it'll be one of the largest ones there, and it's worth going just to look at that.
When going through the Hal Foster's stuff with Prince Valiant, it's like every collection's there's this one page that's the greatest page ever drawn. That's the next volume is that's the greatest page ever drawn.
Well, this is what we're talking about, isn't it? That comic's the best one ever done. No, that one's the best one ever done.
Yeah,
or the best album that you listen to. Oh, I love this album. No, that one's better. No, that, and then you come along.
Yep. Yeah.
That's part of the beauty of it, I think.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's so people don't understand how important the funny section for Sundays was.
Essential. Yeah.
And it was essential to sell the newspaper, to differentiate, because basically all the newspapers were saying the same things except for the features. So therefore you had to be something, you had to bring out your material. And today you just don't have any of that. I mean,
no.
The newspapers are in such a sorry state,
Yes, they are.
And
if anyone even reprints the strips on or prints the Sunday Funny section, most of the papers have dropped those. So it's really rare but majority of those papers are gone now as well. Anyway, someday on Comics by Night, real soon, we'll go through the old Starhawks strip as well with Gil Kane, Ron Goulart. I've got a number of different reprints of that. Some of them just incredible stuff to sit there and watch Gil Kane drawing large spaceships and space stations and monsters and robots. Is just amazing stuff. Got a lot of Little Abner as well. A lot of though nobody wants to talk about that strip.
Yeah, Al
anymore.
Cap.
You know, but
Who?
yeah.
Al Cap? That's just a weird guy. Yeah.
He was a curmudgeon.
God, yeah.
He was a hardcore right-wing conservative long before there were hardcore right-wing conservatives.
Well, he actually, but he went all the way from one end of the political spectrum, and then in the 60s, he suddenly went all the way to the other side.
He was a weird dude.
Yes,
that's what I hear. Yeah. Yep.
But damn, could he draw?
Yeah.
And I've said this before. One of my favorite comic strips that nobody talks about is Alley Oop when he was traveling.
Oh
through
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Just beautifully drawn, beautifully rendered strip.
Somebody at the door.
Oh. Well,
Somebody
it's at the
door?
same
You
time.
need to go?
Yeah, what was it? Captain. Oh, jeez.
Captain Easy,
Yeah, Captain Easy.
Buzz Sawyer.
So yeah,
Just
all of
great,
those,
phenomenal strips. Yeah.
And the thing about it is that they were all, even though there was a certain amount of drama and action, but there was also humor. There was a real mix of elements in all the show, in all the various strips.
Yep.
Because you had to appeal. I mean, Milton Caniff said, "Okay, you're drawing comics, and the kids are going to read them, but you got to get the father to buy it." So that's why he put some leg in, Okay. And then so the guy, the father will buy it for that, and then the kids will read it for something else, and so on and so forth.
That's Alley Oop all over. Yeah.
That sounds like alley.
Yep. Very much so.
Oh God, good stuff.
When it comes to comics, though, big comic runs of all time, best runs.
Oh, Trigon Empire. Rise and Fall of the Trigon Empire that appeared in Ranger and then Look and Learn comic, drawn by Don Lawrence. I'm not sure the writer. Is he called Russ? Is he called Butterworth? Steve Butterworth? Is it?
No,
Trigon Empire.
Yeah.
And anyway,
familiar name. Yeah.
It's a fabulous series. I've shown it before on this. It's
desperate need of being reprinted, though.
Yeah, but they need to reprint it in the proper format because the edition I've got is all carved up and there's big blanks page. Half the page is blank because the panel doesn't fit. Just print it from the pages, just whatever they were.
I don't know whatever happened to my hardback book. It went somewhere. I know I don't have it anymore, though, but if I ever run across one, I'll own it again.
Yeah. It's just beautiful artwork by Don Lawrence. He's a painter. It's just absolutely fantastic work.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
And that's a great series. If anybody wants to find it or read it, just do so because it really is superb. It really is superb.
Valerian and Lorelei.
Okay.
I love that series. Then George Lucas heavily ripped it off.
Yeah.
Really? That's not like him.
Oh, Valerian. Okay. It took a second for it. Yeah. It's classic stuff. Very classic. I was going to say the first how many? 500 or so progs of 2000 AD?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
just one thing after the next. Just, people
those
firing on all
volumes.
cylinders.
Yeah, there's those fantastic volumes of. I don't have them, but I see them when I go in the comic shop.
Well, they'll never reprint it, archive it in straightforward editions because of the way the rights all were set up back then.
Yeah.
I wish
Everybody had a chunk of it.
I wish I'd bought more Titan reprints.
Yeah.
In the 90s. I didn't realise, but I mean, I got quite a few. A
Yeah,
great one was
same here.
DR and Quinch.
Mhm.
That's Guide to Life. That was Alan Davis. Brilliant stuff. And
Alan Davis and Alan Moore just kicking
both,
out a little anarchy. Yeah.
Both sets, both runs of ABC Warriors.
Oh yeah,
plenty of Judge Dredd, Caligula.
Are you
Caligula, the Cursed Earth Child? Was it the Judge Child? I got
even
that.
the oddball side strips like Hell Trickers were
I
amazing.
wish you could get like a whole set of thugs Future Shocks
Yeah.
just in one
Yeah.
book. They were great.
That'd be
There was
great,
one
wouldn't it?
particular one that affected me. I don't know who drew it. The art was great as I remember, but this guy basically crash landed. He was a space pilot, a human space pilot. Crash landed on a planet where he and his co-pilot crashed, and it was about him kind of coming round. And eventually, he looked in the mirror, and where his co-pilot had died, and the mess of the crash, the alien race that had found him just didn't quite know how to put him together again. So he ended up with arms as legs and stuff, and it was really freaky. Great stuff.
Once I just flashed onto something. I remember as a young kid. This is 1957, 58. I particularly liked John Jones' Manhunter of Mars. That was like, in the I guess it was the Detective Comics.
House of Mystery.
Was it?
Yes. House of Mystery, and he had a little companion at the time named Zook.
I'm thinking it's earlier than that.
Earlier than that?
Yeah, I'm thinking in the 1950s. They hadn't started for some reason. I don't know when he started as a backup, because he was always like just a 6-pager.
Yeah.
And he had the ability. He transformed from he was for some reason he was and I can't remember what his origin is. But I know he's there in on Earth, and he can transform himself into a police detective.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it was just an odd thing. I mean, he had superpowers, and he was the only superhero next to Superman who could fly.
Yeah, that calls to mind the New Frontier series that Darwin Cook did. That I think is it's one of my
I love that book.
Just a phenomenal book. That there's an exchange there when Batman figures out who Martian Manhunter is and breaks into his apartment, and on his way out he tells John Jones, he says, "Hey, look, it cost me $20,000 to get a piece of green rock in order for me to stop Superman. This is for you. All I need is a dime for a book of matches."
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was such a good line.
There's a great series. Russell will be aware of this.
Darwin
I'm not sure
Cook's
you guys.
amazing. Yeah.
And that's Charlie's War. Pat Mills and Joe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Have you seen Charlie's War? That's a very underrated series, I think.
That's got an amazing reprint from Titan. It's got a great Titan. Right. I think 1 or 2 even. I think they did 2 volumes on that.
They did that,
Charlie's War.
It is a fabulous series. That Joe Colloon was a great artist.
Got those back there too.
I don't know if they reprinted Rogue Trooper or not in those series.
They did. They did 3 books, I think, at least as Titan reprints. But the way to find Rogue Trooper now, the way to read it is they've got those essential phone books together now. There's at least 4 or 5 of them out.
Yeah,
right.
And that runs everything all in order.
And you've got that gorgeous Cam Kennedy artwork in there as well.
It starts out with Dave Gibbons.
Yeah.
Doing great stuff.
Yeah,
Cam Kennedy
Gibbons,
is in there.
Dave Gibbons was very prominent in 2000 AD back in the day. He did a load
Harlem
of stuff.
Heroes, I think.
Harlem Heroes was fabulous. Yeah. And it's like look at Harlem Heroes compared to Watchmen. And it's like it's a rougher sort of there's more. I hate to say the word energy because
there is. You're right. There is a whole different energy to it,
but it's a whole different feel to it, and his work is just brilliant.
But thinking of Gibbons, the word rough never really comes to my mind because he's so polished and solid. Yeah. Everything that he does is just it's like Russ Manning, same kind of feel, just this beautiful stark solidity to it. It's just amazing.
But it's a whole different kind of energy. So it's a whole different kind of feel to it, and it just shows the range of the man. How good he is.
But then ultimate lines in comics, you just can't. Well, you can because it's all subjective. Art is subjective, but you can't argue much about the entire EC line.
No.
As far as being the best of the best, especially at the time that they were coming out. And we'll look at a lot more of those in future Comics by Night episodes here.
Again, another one of those objective truths.
Yeah.
No, yes. But just the people that Gaines found, like the people that Lee was able to find in the early 60s and Mills found in the 70s with the 2000 ADs, just right place, right time, right talent pool. So we discussed that before with Gaines and Mad magazine, going out and finding just the cream of the crop of the best and putting them all together into one book. So,
yeah,
just great stuff. All right, folks, I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank everybody for attending. The comments have been a little sparse this time. Crystal's in the house. Red dress. It says ABC Warriors was great.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said, I made sure a few years back to rebuy all those issues of Rogue Trooper I had as a kid. Such good stuff. I hope those weren't the Sal Q Eagle comics, because the reprints on those and the coloring on those are just not the same as the originals. And Sal Q for a while was taking that artwork and stretching it in order to fit a comic page that was just really like sadly distorted.
The original format is the best.
Great stuff though. Still it's still readable though. I'm just glad I got here before the stream ended. Yes, Sugar, thank you so much. Whiskey, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me at Twitter, Bandit and Ricochet. We do figures, 3D, things in 3D, miniatures, tabletop games all across the board. If you need a tabletop game developed, we can help you out. If you need a miniature or a action figure design, we can help you out. And we're also working on our own comic recently. We saw the reference art today called Driftwood. It's a tale of necromancers and planar adventures. So look forward to that. And yeah, so just find me over on Twitter, give me a follow, and say hello.
Sweet. John, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, I'm on Kickstarter now with the Fire Fist Angel.
There you go.
Trade paperback. I'm midway through the campaign, and not trying to raise a lot of money, but it's for my my Bloodwing Angel series. But it's Fire Fist Angel Book 1, and check me out there. And you also see I put up about 3 minutes of a video comic. It's I did a little dramatization of the show, of the story, so you can find that there. So
Sweet.
Find me there. Check me out.
Great. Red dress says Rogue Troopers that he got were from Quality Comics. I think that was
QC. Yeah, I had a few of them.
QC.
Yeah.
Good reading. Good reading. You can probably still find those in your retailer $2, $3, $4 bins a piece. And you can get those full collections over on Amazon. I think it's like the essentials. There's like 500 pages worth of one character at a time for $30-$40. It's maybe even less than that. There's really good.
Some of the Warlock ones from over there, Kevin O'Neill.
And also, color on that
stuff.
would just hurt it, And the material. Alice, tell folks how they can find you.
Well, you can find me right here on the Indie Comics Network every Friday at 3 p.m. I do my arting with the Alley Cat, where I try to draw stuff, and sometimes I talk to people. Yeah, it happens. And you can also go to my Patreon, support me, get my free manga, Prototype Zero, and I'm known to upload other things to it, which are interesting as well. And I tend to show up here on Sunday and annoy everybody.
Whenever we're awake.
Yeah.
Unlike Mr. Rosema, but anyway.
Yes, never awake.
He's never awake. It's a little bit more artwork here from Russ.
That's great stuff. Look at that.
We'll finish that off today.
So look at that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
I look at every page and I go, oh, I get to letter that.
I'm like,
ouch,
so looking forward to inking it.
Yeah.
Just, I got myself some new dip pens, so I'm like, I'm raring to go.
There you
Right,
go.
okay. You
Russ,
can
tell
find
folks
me.
how they can find you.
Yeah, when I'm not shouting at parked cars or squirrels.
Damn
You can
squirrels.
find me in the pages of Batman over in Europe at the moment. Doctor Who magazine. I'll have something out on a special pretty soon. But Only Death Can Save Us. You can find the original crowdfunding versions still available for purchase on my website, along with some merch, or you can go get the New Haven Viking Press versions from all good retailers like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and that kind of thing. You can find out all about that kind of stuff over at russleach.com. I have an email list there. You can sign up for my Instagram. I post up artwork every day, whether that's archived or brand new artwork. And all my social media connections are all over there, including the Comic Book Black Belt video channel, YouTube channel. So yeah, go see it there, russleach.com.
Cool. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can get me on the usual social media sites like Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. You can also find me on these podcasts with Randy on Friday mornings and Sunday afternoon, as we've done today. And you get all my work on Amazon, all my books and magazines. And now in Barnes and Nobles and Waterstones and Amazon, you can get your copy of this, which is a Jack Kirby, A Personal Journey, Words and Pictures book. It details the 2 visits I had to Jack Kirby at his home in California. It's got lots of photographs in it of me with Jack and all that, and Roz and everything. I think it's a great read. You should read it.
Splendid book. Buy it.
Thank you. And also coming soon on Barnes and Nobles and Waterstones as well, and Amazon, courtesy of New Haven, will be this much awaited second issue of Hatch, which is about 58 years old now, but that'll be coming soon in the summer. And I also publish Comics Unlimited magazine every few months, which is a 100-page magazine about comics, and Randy writes articles for me, and Russ is in there with interviews and stuff. And the next one of that is, I'm not sure when it's coming out, number 13, but it'll be out soon. So check it out.
13's a magic number.
Yeah.
Folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find some of my work over at aerocomics.store, where you can get books like Herobot Zero, 3-foot tall giant robot fighting big monsters and defending a city from menaces as long as he can do it on the clock and get time and a half for overtime. There are 2 issues of Herobot Zero over there available now. Very happy with that book. Also, Paragon, which is a superhero book I'm very excited about folks finding and reading. It's got a great twist ending to it. It's a great character. Can't wait to do more on that. As well as Calico of Shard, which is a fantasy title. Talking cat, an elf that collects things, a barbarian fairy, and a female centaur warrior, and an old wizened wizard as they try to put their world back together again. And also over there, you can find copies of Revolt. I believe there's 2. If not, number 2 will be available there shortly. Number 2 has a cover by Russ Leach and a story in there as well. Issue 1 has a cover by the great Chris Skelf. It's got a story in there by myself and a Hatch story in there by Glenn as well. And also over at Comics by Night, or not Comics by Night, over at GoFundMe, fundmycomics.com. Fundmycomics.com. Go over there and take a look. The Fool campaign is still open for another little while until the print file's completely done, and we send the thing to press, and we'll shut that campaign down. And that's the adventures of a guy who dresses up in really odd clothing and fights crime.
Comics is proud to present
using
you
practical,
fast-paced
Sorry,
I'm flaking. Still there?
Yeah.
Here's a page from that. Guy dresses up in a weird outfit and fights street crime using practical joke weapons. Anybody he ties up for the police, he takes a section of their clothing and incorporates it into his action suit. So, and then coming soon, we'll have this book out as soon as it's colored and available. We'll run a campaign for that here very shortly. It is a great little story. I can't wait again for folks to read. That has been sitting on my shelf for way too long, being colored by the great Patrick Gamma. So go over to fundmycomic.com. Look for the Arrow Comics and the Fool campaigns over there. Buy in. It doesn't cost much. So Red Dress says there's technical difficulties coming on. Yeah, that's me. My StreamYard for some reason is working really goofy right now. So other than that, folks, we'll be back here next Sunday. Is going to be a pre-recorded program because I was contacted by an old acquaintance of mine, Andrew Peepoy, who wants to do an episode of Sunday Funnies, but he doesn't want to get up this early on a Sunday. And so we're going to have an interview with him. He is a longtime inker with Marvel and DC. He's got a long list of credits, but he also has a book, another volume, hardback volume of material coming out of his IP of Simone and Ajax, which is the adventures of a young lady and her dinosaur companion. As they have all sorts of different adventures. We talk about the whimsy and the fun of the early Shazam Captain Marvel books used to have with CC Beck in the 50s. There's a lot of that kind of feel here in this property. It's a lot of fun. I had the pleasure of printing Andrew's material back in the 90s and 2000s for Arrow Comics, for Arrow Anthology, and a lot of that material is going to be collected into the book he's offering over on Kickstarter. So we'll talk more about that on Sunday. Really looking forward to that. We will see you then Sunday mornings, 9 a.m., Sunday Funnies, where we talk about the stuff that really inspires us and keeps us doing this art form that we love so much. Also, Comics by Night at 5 a.m. on Fridays, where we go over some of the greatest sequential artwork of all time. Right now, we're going through The Watchmen. We are on issue 7 and looking forward to going through that every Friday. Those are all archived over at the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com, Indie Comics Network YouTube channel, also at the Randy Zim channel on YouTube as well. So go over there, subscribe, like, and do all that wonderful stuff. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that love button here. If you've enjoyed this program, make sure you tell your friends that we're here so that they can also listen in as well at their convenience. Go out and try to leave this industry in better shape than what you found it. Folks, there's so much great comics out there. We've just literally scratched the surface of some of the best today. And I'm sure you'll have your favorites as well. And that there's so much great material out there to be discovered, most of which we didn't even mention. So just go out there and take a look.
Be groovy, baby.
Groovy. You want to be groovy or be great?
Groovy.
Groovy. Just remember, you're not wrong in your opinion unless you're picking something like The Death of Superman as your favorite book. Then you're just
Allison. Yeah, Allison's got it. Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman.
You can do it. Wow, my stream there, it's horrible.
And who's your favorite?
We'll never know.
Yeah.
I'm not interested
never know
in what Sigourney Weaver's got to say anyway. To be
and, who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Just not going through. All right, folks, we're done. We're done. We got to go.
Bye.
Don't kill the robot. I loved it.
Bye.
Take it easy. Let's see if this works.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
You're muted.
You're still muted.
I am. Look at that. That's crazy. It shows that I'm not muted.
Is that a senior moment?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
No,
my lord.
Am I back now?
Yes, you are.
You're back now.
I just want to say that's not a senior moment. That's a StreamYard moment.
Yeah.
It's all their fault.
How long have you been doing this, Randy?
Yep.
Take care, everybody. See you next week.
See ya.
See you, folks.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
I nearly spat my tea out when you put that on.
Don't get old.
Take care, everyone.
Bullshit. See ya.
Hit that end button right now.